Hey guys, we've got the final bosses of Dark Visions number 20 on Global. In this video, I'm just going to be doing the two sub-bosses. The last boss, Dark Kokuryu, I might play with him a little bit, but I'm not really going to try hard on Kokuryu until next week because we're getting the variance patch and we're getting, a lot of DPS upgrades from that variance patch. But for now, we're going to do these two final bosses, starting with the physical fight, Physical Domain of Lightning. It's an insect, weak to physical lightning. So this is the party we're going to use, where Choo Choo is going to carry the damage. Alright, so let's get in here. Alright, so to start off, Choo Choo is going to do Surging Malice. That's going to allow her to walk closer to the boss as the fight progresses, just like a Tonberry. Kane is going to do his setup for jumping. Lara Croft will just do Keen Instincts for a big, buff, immunity buff, etc. We'll use Laswell to do an Insect Killer buff. And Sage of Sakura will do Thunder Imbue, Status Immunity, and doesn't really matter what else. Now Zahn will Reflector. We're going to critical on Laswell for the killer. We'll critical on Lara. Actually, we don't even need that from Lara. Whatever. And we're going to project it. That's going to share that killer buff to the entire party, specifically Choo Choo. Okay, so for this one, we're going to now use Sakura to shift here, and she will do her shifted LB for that big amplify. We'll use Zahn to first we're going to use Kane after we do Sakura. We'll use Kane to just jump out of here for later. We'll have Zahn, Catch Me If You Can, and just do a triple AR. That's just for crystal drops to fill Choo Choo's LB gauge. Lara and Kane can just hang out. Okay, Choo Choo can just wait as well. And the boss is going to do some stuff. Choo Choo is not only is she our main damage dealer, she is also our provoker. You see that one step closer, Choo Choo is slowly progressing towards the boss to get ready to OTK him. At this point, we are just waiting, basically. We can actually use the Thunder Field from Sakura. Okay, so we can just wait again. And some AoE attacks, not worried about it. And, okay, now it is time to finish off the boss. So we're going to shift Lara. She's going to be the first one we attack with, and she's going to use Volatile to break the boss. Sakura is going to triple Bolting Strike to chain with our Lara. Laswell will triple Absolute Mirror of Equity. And make sure you're doing the non-elemental one because it is imbued with Thunder at this point. Zahn will triple Absolute Mirror of Equity as well. Choo Choo will use her LB to cap the boss, and then Kane will jump to help out as well. So the damage cap here is 20,186,000,000, so basically 20.1 or 20.2. So we'll go ahead and send these guys. Once the chain is built nicely, we'll drop Kane in there as well. And there is Choo Choo to finish off the boss for us. So we need 20.1. 23 billion, there's the damage cap. We have perfect scored this. Okay, there we go. I'll show you the gear in just a moment. Alright, so here is the damage breakdown. Unfortunately, Choo Choo was busy being our tank as well, so it kind of hampered her damage a little bit. Usually she hits a little bit harder, but she was provoking for us, so she had to wear some tank gear. Didn't do quite as well. Kane has the dual-wielding double hit, so he did 20 or 10 billion apiece. Would have done more, but, damage caps. Lara Croft, mostly a breaker, but she helped as well. And then Laswell, mostly a insect killer. So we just needed someone to do a little bit more because of that damage cap. We needed 20.1, and Kane can only do 20, thanks to the damage cap. But there we go. Let's go ahead and show the gear we used for this one. So for this one, Kane in the base form. Now, I should let you know, the boss does do AoE thunder damage, single target thunder in peril of 120%. But also, we used the Ramu field, which imperils an additional 25%. So, the whole party, except for Kane, because he was in the air at that point. Kane, we're using a 100% Thunder Resist buff from Ramu Sakura. So, but Kane only needed 100%. So here is his build, dual wield spear, jump damage. He basically did the most here. So there we go. There's his card. Next week he will be a double hand build. Insect killer. We've got 300 insect, maxed out jump damage. Although, truth be told, on a fight like this, even after the variance change, you would still go dual wield because you're going to hit that 10 billion cap regardless. But with dual wield, you can hit a 20 billion cap with Kane. So yeah, so on a fight like this, Kane will still go dual wield even in the future. But for like final bosses that are really bulky, he'll always go double hand after the fix. Here was Choo-Choo. She was obviously the most important unit of the party. Tonberry's Knife and Surging Malice that allowed her to slowly progress towards the boss as she gets angrier and angrier. Because she was our provoker and she was eating the 120 Imperil, and we had the Ramu field, she needed a grand total of 145 Thunder Resist or better. She also has passive provoke and evasion. Now, if you don't have Choo-Choo, really unfortunate. You should definitely feel ashamed for not having Choo-Choo. But if you don't have her, you could replace her with, anything else to fill in that party slot. Mastermind Zahn just has 25 or better Thunder Resist. Because remember, we're using a 100% buff, but we're also getting the additional 25 Imperil from the Ramu field that actually affects both sides. So a 25% buff and his TMR or STMR so we can triple cast. Lara Croft in the base form, just 25 or better Thunder Resist. The rest of this whatever. Shift form, technically geared for damage. She did like a billion or something. I forgot the exact amount, but whatever. Her main duty was to break the boss, which she did. If you don't have Laura, Venera works fine, or Hawkeye, or what's the other one? Crowned Lock, or Cacteria. A good breaker. Sakura, just some Esper fill, and she has Thunder Resist naturally. Naturally 100 or something. So yeah, she did the Thunder stuff. And then Laswell was here primarily because he brought the 150% insect killer that we could steal. If you don't have Laswell, or if you just don't want to use him, you could bring like Eurisha, and she does AoE 150 killer. AoE 100 killer, so it's a little bit lower of a killer, but you wouldn't need Zahn in that case. Maxed on everything. So there we go. There was the first boss. Let's go ahead and pop over to the second boss. I will see you after I adjust the team. Alright guys, next up is going to be the Dark Alexander. It's a machine weak to fire and darkness for a magical fight. Unfortunately, Choo-Choo has to recharge after the previous, excursion. So we're going to be taking this party instead. Some fire mages and Ibarra. So once again, the damage cap is 20.186. So hopefully we're going to get it done. So we're going to use Ibarra in the base form to Eccentric for an LB fill rate. And we're going to try to fill Vivi's LB gauge really quickly on turn 1. So we've got some fill rate buff and gear on Steiner and Vivi. Steiner got his LB, so we can use useless good-for-nothings to AoE fill LB. Now we can use Vivi's base form LB for modifier boost. Now keep in mind, this is AoE dark damage. It does hit your party as well, so they got to be immune to dark. Now we'll use Terra to just Rallying Cry, and Aerith can... we can use Aerith to do her shifted LB for the 4-turn buff. It'll still be there by the time we're ready to kill. Okay. Some attacks on Aerith. She is our passive provoker, just FYI. We're going to go ahead and use Vivi. We'll shift here. We'll also shift our Louise this turn, and we'll do, in the shift form, we'll do Disarming Blaster to Gun in Peril. We'll have Ibarra shift this turn as well, and we'll just do a Dark in Peril. I'm not sure what her Dark is spelled. I haven't used Ibarra in quite a while. I think this is it. There it is. All right, we'll do a weakening appeal. Terra can just do Hymn of the Faith. Vivi will do quadruple. We'll do Life's Radiance, and we'll just focus him a bunch. Steiner's good to go at this point. Aerith can do double limit. We'll do Wish to Save the Planet and Ardent Prayer. Ardent Prayer is the AoE Amplify and Fire Imbue, and then Wish to Save the Planet is an AoE Machine Killer and Rod in Peril. Alright, let's go back to the base form with Louise this turn, and we'll do Firestarter for the field. We'll break the boss. We'll do Power Boost and I guess an Ionic. Do we need anything else? Not really. We're good to go at this point, so we'll kill next turn. You do want to kill by turn 4 if possible, because the boss does non-elemental damage on turn 4. We're all good to go here. We can just shift Terra. We don't really need to do her cooldown stuff because we basically did better externally. So we can just guard all of these guys. And Aerith. Now the boss this turn is going to do AoE holy damage. So we're just going to use Aerith to power to Nethicite to absorb it. That's Ash's STMR. You could also use the actual Nethicite skill, or you could gear Holy Resist or buff Holy Resist. Whatever you want. But we're using Aerith just to absorb it. Okay, so we're going to use Ibarra and shifted Louise to LB here. We're going to use LB on Terra. We're going to use LB on Steiner, and we'll just do, we'll go ahead and reflect the party. Vivi will quadruple Fryrega. And we'll just use Aerith to quad, just toss in something, why not? You know, more damage the better. So we're going to send Terra first because she's pretty slow. Then we will retarget on Steiner. Because when you target someone, it kind of locks them up. So you want to target someone that already did their turn. So we're going to target Steiner. Then we're going to use Vivi. Then we can go ahead and click all these other guys. And somewhere in here, we should hopefully get 20.186. We'll see what happens. 20.186 billion. There it is, 22.59. All right. So we'll see the damage breakdown. So this one is quite a bit harder than the other guy. You know, because mages are just, you know, bleh. But there it is. So who did what here? So Vivi did 10 billion, Terra did 6, Louise did 2.3, Ibarra did 3.2. Aerith chipped in for 67 million, and Steiner even helped out a little bit. So there was the perfect score on the other two guys. Now, I probably will be doing some reruns on these bosses with various different teams. Not much else to do for the next few days, honestly. But yeah, if you can't copy these two clears, you know, I'll probably be doing more over the next few days. But here's the party we use. So fire resist. You don't actually need any elemental resistance at all if you do it the way I did, other than dark. And the only reason we need dark resist is because we use Vivi's Doomsday to give a modifier boost. If you're not using Vivi's Doomsday, you don't need dark either. So Aerith was our passer provoker with evasion in the shift form. 100 dark resist because we did use Vivi. Now we gave her the Sword of Kings to absorb the boss's holy attack on turn 3. On turn 3, if you don't want to Nethicite it, you can like reflect it, or you can, you know, cover it, or you can resist it with resistance, or you can just kill the boss before turn 3 and not have to worry about it. But we Nethicited it. Passive provoke, evasion, some dark resist because we did use Vivi, and then Lion Emblem just to help fill LB gauge if we needed it. We actually didn't even use it on that one. Ibarra base form, we gave her Riku's pouch to help fill LB gauge on turn 1 for Vivi. You know, again, I explained why. 100 dark resist, so there you go. Shift form, rod build, dual, well, she's dual wielding. LB damage versus machines. Here's the setup we used, and there we go. Machine, max machine killer, maxed LB damage, and the reason her damage was kind of low is because for one thing, we didn't have a dark amplify, period. Mine's only EX2, so she has no dark amplify. Also, we didn't have we're not on the dark party slot, so she would do better if you're on a real dark team, but we weren't. And if yours is EX3, she can dark amplify herself. Louise, base form, just some dark resist. Shift form, LB damage. She did the 90% spirit break, a gun in peril for herself, basically. And there we go, LB damage versus machines. And we didn't stack her up, so she only had one stack. 300 machine, 300 LB damage. There you go. Steiner, LB fill, dark resist, percent fill rate, so we could get his LB share ability quicker, 900% fill rate. There it is. He did the reflect, and he helped fill VB. Terra in the base form, Yuna's necklace, keeping back the dark, etc. Just, dark resist. Shift form, she did her LB, sword and rod build, versus, well, she's an evoker, so versus everything. Maxed on. Oh my. She wasn't on it. No wonder her damage was so freaking. Oh, no wonder it was so low. I was wondering why she did so low. I didn't. Facepalm moment. I didn't have her on an Esper. So she didn't get any of the Evo damage boost. Are you kidding me? Well, we didn't need it, but oh my god. Really? Make sure your evokers are always on an Esper. How did that happen? I don't even know. Anyway, VV, 100% dark resist in the base form, LB fill rate, Call of the Wild, paintbrush, etc. to get his LB quicker. So 600% fill rate and 900. Well, the LB per turn doesn't really matter. And then shift form. I still can't get over that. Damage versus machines, not LB damage. So there we go. I cannot believe. Really, Terra? 300 LB damage versus machines, and the chain cap up. So there was the clear. If Terra had been on the Nesper, she would have damage capped, and she would have been a lot better. I can't believe it. Anyway, there it is. So as far as the final boss goes, I will be doing that probably next week after the variance patch. So if you're looking for the final boss for me, I will get to that later. Okay, and I'll probably do more reruns of these bosses as well as time goes on. So, see you guys next time.